the start of freshman year at university, so I could blend in with my friends. My billionaire dad told me I had to pretend to be poor. It seems I pretended too well. Even the campus queen felt so sorry for me, she poured out her sympathy. She started helping me collect plastic bottles to earn some cash. Before long, the whole school knew me as a total broke loser. But who would have thought on the exact day of the campus queen's birthday, the hot guy Derek Yang, wanting to humiliate me, shouted in front of everyone that he'd give me 10,000 as long as I jumped into the pool in the freezing winter cold. The result was my dad sitting in a helicopter, circling right above the villa, using a loudspeaker to shout, "Anyone willing to perform in front of my son Ethan G. Jump once, and I'll give 100,000. I don't know how the other freshmen made it to school. My parents, wanting me to blend in, made me ride a beat-up motorcycle all the way to the school gate. When I stepped off the bike with a plastic bag in hand, I immediately became the most noticeable person in the entire school. My roommates saw me and froze in shock, hurriedly asking me, "Is that legendary pair of Liberation shoes on your feet?" I glanced down. It was a brand new limited edition designer sneaker, worth over 20,000 yuan a pair. I hurriedly asked them back, "Is there something wrong with these shoes? Did I already fail at pretending to be poor on the first day? These must be cheap enough, right?" Their expressions turned a bit strange. Then they shook their heads, quickly saying nothing's wrong. But my heart tightened. I felt more and more that they were starting to suspect me. It seemed it was time to carry out the bottle collecting plan. So, during the military training break, I dragged along a burlap sack, desperately picking up bottles right in front of everyone. By the time military training ended, I had successfully made the whole school know that Ethan G. was extremely poor. Thanks to that, I got along very well with my roommates. I was extremely satisfied for fulfilling my old man's expectations. That day I was dragging the sack, sitting cooling off under a tree, when I heard people not far away gossiping about me. And it was even two of my roommates, Victor Bai and the hot guy Derek Yang. "Doesn't Ethan G feel ashamed? Picking plastic bottles all day long with a grin. What is he even picking bottles for? It's just to cling to Lily Lu. Get attention, that's all. So that's how it is. No wonder he's always hovering around Lily Lee. He's really scheming. Who is Lily Lu anyway?" At this moment my head was full of question marks. But whatever. It doesn't matter. I turned and walked straight up to them, under their faces burning red with embarrassment. I curiously opened my mouth and asked, "Is Lily Lu your biological mother?" Victor Bai and Derek Yang frowned, with puzzled expressions. "Ethan G. What do you mean?" I rolled my eyes in disdain, saying, "You guys care so much about Lily Lu. Are you afraid I'll become your stepdad or something?" Their faces instantly turned pale as banana leaves. "Ethan G. 50. Suddenly, a soft laugh drifted down from above. We just looked up and saw on the second floor railing a beautiful, fair-skinned girl leaning back, her obsidian black eyes gazing toward me. A refined, pleasant voice came from her lips. "Sorry about that. I could never give birth to such big, troublesome boys like these." Victor Bai and Derek Yang's faces flushed red immediately. So embarrassed, they ran away barefoot. I looked at the girl in front of me, and suddenly realized. I remembered the previous times she saw me passing by. She would always call me over. After drinking the remaining 1/3 of the water in the bottle, she'd hand the empty bottle to me. So, she was Lily Liu. I was about to turn and leave, but Lily Liu said to me one sentence, "However, if you want to be their stepdad, then I can reluctantly accept them as sons too." I refused immediately. I didn't want useless sons like Victor Bai and Derek Yang at all. After Victor Bai and Derek Yang's true faces were exposed, they started isolating me in the dorm. Victor Bai deliberately said loudly, "David, do you want to go with Derek Yang to eat seafood buffet tonight?" David turned to ask me, "Ethan G, do you want to come along?" I was curious what a seafood buffet even was. Victor Bai sneered, "Derek, aren't you asking for nothing? Does Ethan G's daily living expenses even reach 20 yuan? Can he afford a 168 yuan per person seafood buffet?" I found it utterly confusing. What's the difference between 20 yuan and 168 yuan? Aren't they both just pocket change? That salespeople or shop owners often give me discounts on when I buy stuff. The next day, the 3 classes had a big joint lecture. As soon as I walked into class, someone asked, "Ethan G, I heard you turned down the 168 yuan seafood buffet. Does that mean you've already won over campus queen Lily Liu?" The whole class suddenly fell deathly silent. It seemed quite a few people were perking up their ears waiting for my answer. I found the whole thing ridiculous, and asked back, "Why would you think I'd stay with Lily Liu because of that 168 yuan buffet? Or in your heart, you actually look down on her, thinking she's only worth 168 yuan?" That person seemed about to argue back, but the very next second, everyone's expressions changed as they looked behind me. I was about to turn my head when someone seemed to lean right up to my ear. Right after came a girl's sweet voice, asking softly, "So, how much money would it take for you to stay with Lily Liu?" No amount of money could ever, unless is... I instinctively turned my head before I could finish the sentence. Unless it's the person I like. I felt my lips touch something soft. My eyes widened in shock. Before me was a pair of beautiful eyes, with pupils contracting for a split second, long, curved, black lashes, trembling slightly, like a tiny fan gently tickling my heart. The whole class gasped in unison. I snapped awake, gently pushing Lily Liu, who was tilting her head and standing still, away. My face burned like fire. My first kiss was gone just like that. I no longer had the mind to care about everyone's shocked stares, nor did I bother with the whispers. Things like, "Ethan G is so shameless," deliberately taking advantage of Lily Liu, clearly bullying her. I walked straight to the back row to sit in silence, in my heart, wondering, thinking to myself, maybe I should give Lily Liu a good scold. But then, from behind came Lily Liu's enchanting voice. "What was that, unless you mentioned earlier? Could it be, unless I give you a kiss, then you'd agree to be my boyfriend?" I held back the urge to roll my eyes, turned my head, gritting my teeth, and said to her, "Dream on, unless you return my first kiss to me." The moment I finished speaking, her eyes suddenly lit up. "Then let me kiss you once, to return your first kiss, okay?" I almost nodded on instinct, then realized her words sounded off, and glared angrily at Lily Liu. My gaze met her deep pupils smiling enigmatically, and finally I realized I was being teased by her. Suddenly an idea struck me. I asked, "Do you really want to return my first kiss?" Lily Liu nodded very sincerely. I suddenly laughed. "Fine then. My first kiss is reserved for the richest goddess in this school. When I find her, I'll tell you who she is. Then, you can help me kiss her." Consider it, passing my first kiss on to her. In Lily Liu's eyes, a flicker of emotion I couldn't understand passed through. She asked, "Do you think I'm not rich enough?" I was about to shake my head, because honestly the concept of wealth to me wasn't very clear anyway. Right at that moment, a piece of paper was thrown onto my desk. Derek Yang standing from above looking down, with a contemptuous face deliberately speaking loudly, "Ethan G, this is the poor student subsidy application. The advisor asked me to give you Fill it out quickly. The class fell into an oddly quiet silence once more. I frowned. No need. I have enough money to spend. I don't need the subsidy. Save it for those who need it more. The moment I finished speaking, Derek Yang sneered. If you're poor, just admit it. Why pretend to be noble? If you don't need it, fine. But don't regret it later. He snatched the form off my desk. Before leaving, he shot me a contemptuous glance. The news that I refused the poverty subsidy somehow exploded all over the school forum. When I returned to the dorm, Derek Yang and Victor Bai both looked at me with smug expressions. Only David Du hesitantly handed me his phone to see. I immediately spotted the shocking headline on the screen. Ethan G., the poorest in school, arrogantly declares he doesn't lack money in front of the whole class. The content below was a secretly recorded video of me saying, I didn't need the subsidy. Below were countless comments. One account named School Day Off posted a photo of me often picking plastic bottles with the message, everyone look. The guy wearing outdated liberation shoes, carrying a burlap sack on his shoulder, is Ethan G. Clearly so poor, he has to pick bottles for living expenses. Yet, he still pretends to be noble, saying he has enough money. Below, account Ultra Thin Mint replied, who knows if he really doesn't lack money. Heard he's thick-skinned. Dared to deliberately steal a kiss from the campus queen in class. Who knows if he's scamming money behind people's backs? Many people posted shocked emojis and left comments. Ha ha ha. So when he says he doesn't lack money, it's thanks to his green tea guy profession, fishing for girls. He's got real skills. What else could it be? After watching, I felt nothing at all. On the contrary, David Du hesitantly asked me, Ethan G., do you want to clarify a bit? At this time, I was extremely headache. Didn't expect. Just because I didn't want to take someone else's subsidy spot. All my long efforts at pretending to be poor were about to go down the drain. I asked David Du, looking at me, do I still not look poor enough? My question only got 3 question mark-filled heads from my roommates. At that time, I still didn't know that. On the school forum, there was an account named I Am Lily Lai, who posted a sentence that almost crashed the system. It's so annoying. I think no matter what, I'm better. Those pretty girls around Ethan G. Why hasn't he hit on me yet? Or does he think I don't look rich or good enough? Everyone who read this was stunned. What? Is this really Lily Lu? It must be hack. Or someone impersonating her. Or maybe Ethan G's alt account role-playing? No one dared believe Lily Lu could say such things. Meanwhile, in Lily Lai's dorm, after posting the message, she frowned and asked her roommate, looking at me, do I still not look rich enough? Her friends looked at the outfit worth millions on her, only able to roll their eyes in exasperation. I walked on the road, feeling people looking at me with strange eyes, secretly pointing and gossiping. I didn't care, because I was busy thinking how to change my image in everyone's heart, to make them believe I was truly extremely poor. Just as I entered the class, I heard some people chatting. A girl pouted and asked Derek Yang, hey, do you guys boys really love fishing that much? There's a story online like this. A guy went fishing and hooked a dead body, but to not affect his fishing, he just set the body aside, sat fishing next to it all night, only remembered to call the police the next day. Is that a true story? I perked up my ears to eavesdrop. Derek Yang spoke. It must be true. During the National Day holiday, Uncle's son invited me to fish. Cost 1,000 yuan per person, and he paid without blinking. But the scenery there was beautiful. The fish were plentiful and pretty. I caught a bunch of ornamental fish. My eyes suddenly lit up. I knew how to pretend to be poor now. My dad also often fishes at our family's pond. I pretended to be surprised and exclaimed, wow, everyone has money to go fishing, huh? You're Families must be really rich. Unlike me, I've never been fishing since I was little. I felt the atmosphere in the class suddenly pause. Right then, a soft laugh rang out. Lily Liu, who had entered the class unnoticed, walked over to them and said, "Do you guys only have fishing as a hobby? That's so boring. As for me, I usually like driving a 50 million yuan yacht out to sea to fish for tuna." After saying that, she gracefully glided past us and left the classroom through the back door. "Do you guys only know this fishing thing? That's so boring. I only like driving a 50 million yuan yacht out to sea to fish for tuna." After saying that, she glided past us gracefully and left the classroom through the back door. I stared blankly at Derek Yang's displeased expression. Victor Bai saw my dazed look, rolled his eyes contemptuously, and glared at me. "Ethan G., what are you still pretending for? Haven't you hooked enough girls as a green tea guy? Everyone knows you have the most fish ponds in school." My expression changed. I hurriedly asked, "How do you know 80% of the fish ponds in Harbor City belong to my family? Could it be my long pretense to be poor has failed?" Because they already knew my identity, the atmosphere suddenly fell silent. A male student at a loss for words spoke. "Ethan G., your delusional illness is getting worse. You haven't even won Lily Liu yet, and you already want to claim other people's fish ponds as your own." I was also very shocked. Didn't expect Lily Liu's family also had fish ponds. Because of that fish pond incident, the whole school thought I was so poor, I went crazy, daydreaming about being Lily Liu's boyfriend and grabbing all her family's assets as my own. Although the truth was a bit different from what I thought. But anyway, it made the whole school believe I was truly very poor. I was extremely satisfied. Today there was another joint class. I was in a great mood when suddenly from behind a voice rang out. "I heard you want my family's fish pond. How about I give it to you as dowry? Will you accept?" I turned around, Lily Liu with sparkling eyes, looking at me with a half smile. She was teasing me again. I replied as usual, "I don't want it. I only want to marry the richest goddess in school as my wife." Lily Liu showed an "I understand" expression. Right after, the lecturer asked students to come up to the podium to present on the characteristics of various architectural structures. When it was Lily Liu's turn, the projected image was an extremely luxurious and opulent manor castle. Lily Liu said calmly, "I originally intended to show everyone the structure of my family's 20 square meter villa. But last night when selecting the photo I must have mistaken it. So it ended up being the image of a 10 square meter estate in France. Since it's already like this, I'll just briefly talk about the architectural features of my estate. If any of you have a more luxurious villa or estate than mine, you can also come up and present it for everyone to see." As soon as Lily Liu finished speaking, the whole class was stunned into silence from shock. Then, every time Lily Liu introduced a facility in the estate, the class would gasp in admiration. Their eyes filled with unmistakable envy and longing. Only I felt more and more familiar the more I looked. When Lily Liu projected the HD photo of the fountain with the statue of a boy holding a fish, but missing the fish's tail, I widened my eyes in realization. Wasn't this the neighboring estate right next to my house? When I was little, I often went abroad with my parents to vacation at the estate. Back then I was mischievous, climbing trees and jumping walls to play in the neighboring estate all day. One time, I accidentally broke the fishtail on the statue in the fountain. I was terrified, afraid my parents would scold me for sneaking into someone else's house and damaging their property too. Later, my parents told me that, when they went to the neighboring estate to pick me up, I refused to leave, insisting on holding tightly to a extremely beautiful older sister's hand, demanding to marry her. I said that way, Both estates would be mine. Even if I damaged something, it wouldn't get me scolded. Until I returned to the dorm, I was still pondering one thing. Could Lily Liu be the older sister from that summer long ago when I clung to her, begging to marry her? My dad said back then that sister couldn't stand me clinging so much, so she returned home early, making me sad all night, thinking that Lily Liu was very likely that sister. I was so embarrassed I wanted to dig a hole and hide. I even didn't dare face her anymore. I comforted myself that those childhood things Lily Liu probably didn't remember. David Du, have you voted for Lily Liu yet? Victor Bai asked as soon as he returned. I was curious. David Du also wondered, what voting? It was the vote for the richest goddess in school. Lily Liu was currently leading by a huge margin. I was full of question marks. Everything was fine. Why did someone have time to organize such votes? Weren't they afraid of being too rich and becoming isolated? I heard the vote lasted 3 days. I didn't care. Still going to class as usual. Only today, as I stepped into class, I heard a wave of exclamations. Derek Yang, those limited edition 50 yuan sandals you just bought are so beautiful. Several male students surrounding Derek Yang, admiring the sandals on his feet. But right after someone whispered, feeling it familiar, as if seen somewhere before. Right then a male student pointed at my feet. Everyone looked. The plastic flip-flops Ethan G is wearing look exactly like Derek Yang's. I glanced at the sandals on Derek Yang's feet. Besides color and small details slightly different, the style and material were almost identical twins. I looked at Derek Yang in surprise and asked, You're also so poor. You can only afford this kind of flip-flops. Derek Yang's face flushed red with anger. Victor Bai angrily shouted at me, Ethan G, what nonsense are you spouting? Don't drag yourself into it like that, okay? The flip-flops you're wearing are the cheap plastic kind my grandpa used to wear 20 years ago, while Derek Yang's are designer. 5,000 yuan a pair. I couldn't believe it and exclaimed, 5,000 yuan a pair? Still not cheap enough. Immediately the class fell silent. I wondered if I had said something wrong again. Fortunately at this time Lily Liu's voice rang from the classroom door. She was saying to her friends, the shoes on my feet only cost 120 yuan. Really, cheap things are trash. Not comfortable at all to wear. My 580 yuan pair is much better. The entire classroom suddenly fell into a terrifying silence. I watched them pass by the window, breathing a sigh of relief in my heart. Only I didn't know what was wrong with Derek Yang. His face red and ugly, he buried his head on the desk. For the entire class, period. Back at the dorm, Derek Yang angrily and hatefully threw his shoes into the trash right in front of me. He even gave me a cold glare and said, Ethan G, just you wait. That evening, as I was about to sleep, Ting! Someone added me as friend. On the confirmation there were only 3 words, Lily Liu. I was quite puzzled why she suddenly added me, but still accepted. After adding, she didn't say anything, just sent me a screenshot. It was an ID photo with Lily Liu's delicate features. Below bold text, champion of the richest goddess in school. I looked at the photo and confusedly sent back 3 question marks. Lily Liu quickly replied, no feelings after seeing it? I racked my brain thinking, suddenly had an epiphany. Replied immediately, are you worried about being isolated by everyone? After all, she was voted the richest in school. My dad had said before, showing off too much wealth easily leads to isolation. With the yacht for tuna fishing, the manor estate now voted first on the rich list. This might be the start of her being ostracized. I suddenly felt grateful to Mom for making me pretend poor. Otherwise, My situation now would probably be as miserable as hers. Lily Liu didn't reply. Probably as I guessed. I thought for a moment, asked her, "How about from tomorrow you come pick bottles with me? Just say your family went bankrupt." This time, Lily Liu replied extremely fast, but it was just a string of dots. I didn't understand. About to ask what she meant. Then she messaged again. "Are you going home for New Year's? There's still over a month until New Year's." Why was she asking now? I honestly replied, "Of course I'm going home. Coincidentally, my birthday is February 1st. Address is Daisy Estate. Remember to come." I was a bit hesitant. If it was before, I would refuse outright. But Lily Liu was very likely the sister from the estate back then. Thinking of the fishtail on the fountain that I broke, which still hasn't been fixed, I could only reply, "Let me think about it." Lily Liu was silent for a few minutes, only replied with one word, "Okay." Our class has 3 full joint classes with other classes each week. I secretly observed Lily Liu to see if she was clearly being isolated. Half a month passed. I saw a group of girls always surrounding her, talking very enthusiastically. As for her, she just leisurely leaned back in her chair, arm on the armrest, occasionally replying a few words, looking like she really didn't want to engage with people. I figured she must have used some way to avoid being ostracized, and I had to admit, after observing for half a month, she was extremely beautiful. Small, delicate face, red lips, white teeth, figure perfect, without needing adjustment, especially those endlessly long legs, attracting all eyes when walking. Her casual gestures all exuded innate nobility. I feared if I kept looking I'd get distracted, so I decided not to observe her anymore. But a few days later, in another joint class, Lily Liu lightly poked me with her pen tip. When I turned, she asked, "Why aren't you looking at me anymore?" I blushed a bit. Could it be my secret glances were too obvious? Caught. I quickly made an excuse. "Because you finally washed your face clean." Lily Liu's face turned black with lines upon hearing. I suddenly felt the temperature this morning seemed to drop quite a bit, especially a cold draft blowing from behind. I couldn't help rubbing my arms. Right then, a shirt with a fresh, pleasant scent suddenly draped over my head. Immediately after was Lily Liu's low, calm voice. "Even though Harbor City has entered winter, it's already November. Don't wear flip-flops anymore." My heart suddenly felt strangely warm. I pulled the shirt down and put it on. After class, I planned to return the shirt to her when a loud scream suddenly rang out. "What? Derek Yang, your several hundred million yuan watch you just bought is lost." The whole classroom suddenly turned shocked eyes toward Derek Yang and Victor Bai. Quite a few panicked and asked, "A watch worth hundreds of millions lost? This is a big deal. Call the police right away, school hot guy. Tell us when exactly the watch went missing." Derek Yang answered helplessly, "Probably this morning. Last night I took it off and casually put it in my backpack. This morning, I arrived at class quite early. In the middle I went to the bathroom for a bit. At that time, I didn't have the backpack with me. That watch was a birthday gift from my dad. How could I be so careless and lose it?" Victor Bai, upon hearing, immediately turned to Derek Yang. "It must be someone rummaged through the bag and stole it this morning. Just search everyone's backpacks and we'll find it." I felt something off about these words. Right then, I met Victor Bai's gaze. He pointed straight at my face and said, "I remember now. Just now when we went to the bathroom, there weren't many people in class. I clearly remember Ethan G was in the class. How about searching his bag first?" The others didn't say anything. Victor Bai aggressively moved to charge over. I was truly speechless. "Just because I was in class, you want to search my bag? Aren't there cameras? Just check the cameras. Just because I was in class, you want to search my bag. Aren't there cameras? Just check the cameras and done. Victor Bai immediately retorted, who knows if the cameras are broken? Besides, last night, only you and Derek Yang returned to the dorm earliest. You're the most suspicious. What's wrong with searching your bag? If you don't let us search, does that mean you really stole it? Anyway, with your situation, not to mention a hundreds of millions watch, you probably can't even afford one worth a few $100,000. The others, seeing this, also started looking at me with suspicious eyes. A few male students even urged, Ethan G., just let them search your bag. What's the big deal? If you're upright and not afraid of shadows, why worry? Exactly, if you don't let them search, we'll have no choice but to call the police. That'll be even more troublesome. I frowned tightly, about to say something, but saw Derek Yang glancing at me with a shady look. My heart skipped a beat, instinct telling me something was wrong with this. I decisively said, if you want to search everyone's backpacks. Put all backpacks on the table. I don't agree to searching only mine right away, unless everyone is searched. At this point, I clearly saw several male students in class starting to show dissatisfaction. When his watch went missing, we hadn't even arrived in class yet. What does it have to do with us? I'm starving here. You're so afraid of being searched. I suspect you're the one who stole Derek Yang's watch. After all, in this class you're the poorest one. I almost laughed out loud. Just because I'm poor, you have the right to accuse me of being a thief? So what if there's no watch in my bag? As soon as I finished, Victor Bai confidently retorted, if you didn't take it, I'll apologize. But if it was you, then what? The answer came too fast. I felt something wrong. But before I could react, Victor Bai took advantage of my inattention, snatched my bag, and dumped everything inside out. A watch immediately caught the eye, falling right onto the floor. Victor Bai, without a word, picked it up, then shoved the watch right in my face. This is exactly Derek Yang's watch. Ethan G., what else do you have to say now? Everyone immediately looked at me with utmost contempt, as if I were a despicable thief. Ethan G. is truly disgusting. Thick-skinned scamming money from girls is one thing, but now his hands aren't clean either. Daring to steal even a hundreds of millions watch. Looks like a professional thief. Otherwise, why would he dare look down on the 168K seafood buffet and boldly claim the 17 million yuan shoes were cheap trash? I looked at the watch dangling before my eyes, slightly raised my brow, about to speak, when a cold voice suddenly rang out in front of me. Even if the watch was in Ethan G's bag, it doesn't mean he stole it. Everyone immediately turned their eyes to Lily Liu, who had just spoken. Everyone was shocked, unable to believe Lily Liu would stand up for me. Lily Liu glanced around the classmates, then calmly said, with his vision, even the billion yuan gift I gave him he doesn't care about. How could he possibly covet something worth only a few $100 million? I heard it and was completely confused. When did Lily Liu give me a gift? Why don't I remember anything? The others didn't know what to think either, all looking at me with extreme astonishment, as if wanting to ask what tricks I used to make Lily Liu give me a billion yuan gift. I didn't care about them. Just calmly replied, following Lily Liu's words. Lily Liu is right. I really don't care about this watch. Nor did I steal it. Not because it's only worth a few $100 million, but simply because this watch is fake. As soon as I finished, Derek Yang's eyes exploded with anger, pointing at my face and yelling, Ethan G., if you don't admit you're the thief, fine. How dare you slander my watch as fake? This is a birthday gift my dad bought for me. I looked innocent, but it is fake. The Submariner line from brand L. The case must be made of special oyster steel. using the original automatic mechanical movement. As for yours, the color and material are clearly wrong. The steel's polish is slightly dull. Grinding marks on the case still have burrs. The second hand doesn't run evenly. The sound from the movement is very disjointed, completely not matching the authentic at all. The whole classroom was dead silent, everyone looking at me in shock. Victor Bai froze for a moment, then hurriedly argued, "Ethan G. Don't talk nonsense like you know it all. A dirt poor guy like you who picks plastic bottles. What the hell do you know about telling real watches from fake?" I just replied, "If you don't believe, take it for appraisal. No need to complicate it. I'll call the experts here right now." Lily Liu raised her phone. Half an hour later, 3 appraisal experts arrived. In less than 2 minutes, all 3 experts confirmed this watch was a grade 1 fake. Derek Yang's face turned sour, ears red, and he stormed out of the classroom. When I left the classroom, I noticed the way my classmates looked at me had changed a bit. It took a full 2 weeks later before Derek Yang dared to show up at school again. This time, he wore a real watch, showing it off to everyone. Previously, my dad was tricked, spending hundreds of millions on a fake. To make it up to me, he personally went to France to buy me the latest model. I glanced at it. It was clearly last year's model, but these minor things I couldn't be bothered to expose. Now I was very happy, because only 1 week left until New Year's. I missed home terribly. The night before the holiday, I had just finished a video call with my parents when I saw Lily Liu send me a message. "How far have you considered?" My head full of question marks. Considered what? First, Lily Liu sent a string of dots, then wrote, "My birthday is February 1st. Address is Daisy Estate. Remember to come." I suddenly remembered, oh, it's that. This time, I didn't refuse, because when I was accused of stealing, only Lily Liu firmly stood by my side. Moreover, I was very curious. Lily Liu said she once gave me a 1 billion yuan gifty. That, I refused. Was she making it up, or real? I plan to ask my parents tomorrow when I go home. Previously, my parents wanted me to be independent a bit, so told me not to come home on weekends if nothing to do. This time, coming home for New Year's, I received warm attention from my parents. My dad eagerly asked, "How's university life, son?" I told my parents everything that happened at school, then proudly showed off. "Dad, I succeeded brilliantly at pretending to be poor. Now the whole school knows how poor I am. No slip-ups at all." After I said that, my parents' faces looked off, full of black lines. My dad twitched his mouth and asked, "So, have you blended in with your friends yet?" I paused a bit, scratched my head. Probably not yet. They keep mentioning my name all day, saying although I'm poor, I have tons of skills. Even the campus queen was swept up by my 3-inch tongue. I really didn't care about them. My parents stared at me blankly. It took a long while before reacting. "What? Wait a minute, son. This Lily Liu you mentioned, is she the daughter of the Liu family in Harbor City, one of the 4 major families, who just shifted their business focus back home 2 years ago?" I didn't quite understand. "Probably yes." My dad suddenly jumped up and said, "It must be her. Last month her brother told your sister that little Lily Liu has been crushing on you for over 10 years, and asked if our family wants to arrange a marriage with the Liu family. But over 10 years ago our families weren't close. Suddenly wanting to tie the knot must have ulterior motives. You have to be careful." My heart skipped a beat. Crushing on me for over 10 years? Why? Could it be she wants me to pay for the broken fishtail? No wonder she deliberately showed the estate photo before. It was a subtle reminder that I still owe a debt from over 10 years ago that I forgot to repay. I said, embarrassedly, "But I accidentally promised to attend her birthday party tomorrow." My dad immediately acted like facing a great enemy, determined not to let me go, but then felt it was a bit narrow-minded. thought for a while, then took out a listening device. Tomorrow, you must wear this the whole time. Don't take it off. I had arrived at Lily Liu's villa, about an hour's drive from my house. The driver took me to the gate. I wore the outfit I usually wear for important events. As soon as I stepped in, I saw countless schoolmates all turning their eyes toward me. He's Ethan G. Didn't expect him to look so handsome when dressed up. Even more handsome than hot guy Derek Yang. Now I realize Ethan G's aura is truly outstanding. The outfit on him looks insanely expensive. My heart tightened. I didn't know Lily Liu had invited schoolmates too. This whole set of mine cost at least billions. If exposed, my poor pretense would be ruined. But anyway, giving the gift was most important. I was looking around for Lily Liu when Derek Yang blocked my way. Ethan G, you're really willing to spend for Lily Liu. Even rented such an expensive outfit. Be careful with it. If it gets damaged anywhere, you can't afford to compensate. I was speechless. So I asked him, does your family live by the sea? Derek Yang looked confused. What do you mean by that? I raised my brow. Seeing you manage so broadly, I thought your family lived by the sea. In my ear, I just heard my dad praising my roast as good, when beside me a soft laugh rang out. Then, Lily Liu's voice. Ethan G, you're here? I turned my head. Lily Liu with sparkling eyes, unable to hide her joy, looking at me intently. Today she wore a tight-fitting mermaid dress, highlighting her hourglass figure extremely alluring. I don't know if it was because it was her birthday, but I felt Lily Liu tonight, under the brilliant twinkling lights, looked stunningly beautiful and radiated an unusual glow. I took out a small box and said to her, "This is your birthday gift." Lily Liu looked very happy, took the gift and invited me inside to eat and drink. Actually, I was a bit hungry too. Stepping into the banquet hall, more and more schoolmates saw me and Lily Liu entering side by side, and everyone's eyes showed clear astonishment. Lily Liu didn't care about other people's stares at all, asked what I wanted to eat, and then kept getting food for me the whole time. I was already too used to being the center of attention, so I didn't find it unnatural at all. The only thing was, my attention was drawn away by my dad's voice. He snorted coldly and said, "Son, don't let the thoughtfulness of that Liu family girl fool you. Girls at this age are the best at acting to deceive people. Don't think just because she gives you a little food, she can capture your heart completely." I whispered to Dad, "You seem quite experienced, huh? Back in the day, were you fooled by Mom like this too?" The other end of the line went completely silent. After finishing eating, Lily Liu even wanted to take me for a walk around the villa. But right then, a friend called her away. Seeming like there was something to do, I felt a bit bored. The banquet hall was a little hot, so I stepped outside. While strolling beside the swimming pool, someone suddenly pushed me hard. I struggled hard to keep my balance so I wouldn't fall into the pool. When I heard Victor Bay's angry, questioning voice, "Oh my God, Ethan G, why did you deliberately push Derek Yang? You intended to push him into the swimming pool, didn't you? How can you be so vicious?" I hadn't even had time to say anything. Derek Yang interrupted, "Forget it. It's just karma biting back. The vest on him isn't cheap at all. It must be around 300 or 400 million. Now he spilled a ton of red wine all over his clothes like that. He'd have to pay until he's broke." The crowd around started pouring their attention here. When they heard Derek Yang say my outfit was worth 300 or 400 million, everyone's faces changed color. Their looks toward me were full of pity, like, this kid is done for now. I bent down to look. Only then did I see, on my shirt was a large patch of bright red wine. I immediately realized, just now, Derek Yang and Victor Bai had deliberately bumped into me. I didn't bother paying attention to the old man's voice in the earpiece, frantically asking if someone was bullying me. I looked at Derek Yang and slowly spoke. Whether I can afford to compensate or not is none of your concern, but you definitely can't. Because in your eyes, a few $100 million is already such a big deal it's like paying until death. Derek Yang's face distorted for a moment. Then, as if remembering something, he took a deep breath, raised his chin challengingly at me. How do you know I can't afford it? Ethan G, today I'm definitely going to show you how vast the class gap between us is. Now I'll give you this chance. Jump into the swimming pool right in front of everyone. Jump once, and I'll give you 10 million. Just jump 40 times, and you'll have enough 400 million to compensate for this outfit. How about it? Dare to jump. Almost. Around came gasps of shock. 10 million for one jump? Our school's hot guy is really generous. After hearing that, I want to jump too. To be honest, I'm tempted. The crowd's whispering discussions, mixed with my dad's angry curses through the earpiece. What nonsense! This is outrageous. A guy with only 10 million can't even buy a single hair of my son. With that little pocket change you dare show off here. Son, don't be afraid. Dad is coming right away. I secretly thought I had nothing to fear. Besides, didn't Dad know that from our house to Lily Liu's villa, it takes a full hour by car? I was about to turn and leave when Lily Liu frowned worriedly and came over asking, Ethan G, what happened? I was about to answer when suddenly the loud roar of a helicopter engine sounded in the sky. Right after, an extremely strong beam of light shone straight on us. Everyone was stunned and looked up at the sky. Then a voice full of full authority boomed through the high-powered loudspeaker. Who's willing to perform a pool jump in front of my son, Ethan G? Jump once, and I'll give 100 million. I was shocked to the core too. It was my dad. When did he get on the helicopter? I had no idea. Lily Liu still didn't understand what just happened, frowned and asked the friends beside her what was going on. After finding out the whole story, her expression immediately changed, her cold gaze sweeping straight toward Derek Yang. My dad had grabbed the loudspeaker, jumped out of the helicopter cabin, and landed on the ground. As soon as he touched down, someone pointed at my dad and screamed in horror. It's him, the seafood tycoon Charles G. I heard his assets are worth several trillion. Hey, he's Ethan G's dad? What the hell? Wasn't Ethan G the poorest guy in school? So, his dad is a trillionaire. My dad stood beside me holding the loudspeaker. First he scanned the group of students around, then quickly locked onto Derek Yang and Victor Bai. Who was the loudmouth just now, trying to use a bit of pocket change to humiliate my son? Let me show you generosity. Anyone who performs a pool jump for my son, one time I'll give 100 million. Derek Yang and Victor Bai's faces turned deathly pale, extremely ugly, their limbs going limp. At this boiling point, Lily Liu coldly added, anyone who performs a pool jump for Ethan G, I'll add another 100 million. Derek Yang finally couldn't hold it anymore, suddenly burst into tears and stormed out running. Victor Bai looked at us helplessly, then hurriedly chased after Derek Yang. The next morning, in the living room of my villa, I was quite surprised to see Lily Liu sitting on the sofa, together with her parents. My dad said they came to apologize, because last night I had to endure a grievance right at her villa. As soon as I stepped into the living room, I heard Dad snort coldly. An apology is fine, but don't bring up marriage alliances here. My son doesn't need to marry for connections. He can like whoever he wants. Lily Liu saw me enter and stood up, seriously saying, Ethan G once said, he only wants to marry the richest goddess in our school. As she spoke, she took out her phone and handed it to my mom. Auntie, take a look. I'm the #1 in the richest goddess vote. Both me and Mom froze for a few seconds. In the end, my mom still rejected Lily Lowe, saying it was only freshman year now. There were still 4 years of university left. Who knows? Next year there might be someone more outstanding than Lily Liu, pushing her down the ranks. Before leaving, Lily Liu firmly declared, "The champion position of the richest goddess in school will definitely belong to me throughout the 4 years of university." Before heading back to school, I happened to overhear Mom talking to Dad. Lily Liu seems like a girl who loves deeply. Once she sets her eyes on someone, she'll never change her heart. Our Ethan G is so naive. What should we do? I'm worried that the boy will sooner or later be swept away by her. No, I have to go to school and be a bodyguard for my son. As soon as Dad finished speaking, Mom gave him a slap on the shoulder. I think that Lily Liu girl is pretty good, actually. It's the kid's business. Stop meddling. I felt Dad's evaluation of me was completely wrong. I'm not naive at all. There's no way I'd ever be tricked by anyone. I planned this time to snatch the first place in academics, to show Dad how top my level is. As soon as I returned to school, everyone's eyes toward me were completely different. When schoolmates talked to me, they were all hesitant, probing, and even trying to curry favor. There was even one who pointed at my liberation shoes and said, "Now I realize. Ethan G. The LV Liberation shoes on your feet are worth over 20 yuan a pair, right? Moreover, Ethan G., both the flip-flops you wore before and that burlap sack are all limited editions, aren't they?" Actually, I had been a bit suspicious before. Didn't expect it to be true. I found these discussions really noisy, bothering me while reading too much. Right at that moment, someone sat down beside me. A fresh, cool scent, like summer, lemon, soda emanated from beside. The surrounding whispers immediately died out. I turned my head and saw Lily Liu sitting there nonchalantly. She wasn't looking at me, just lazily playing with her phone. Now, whenever there was a free period, she would come study with me. Even during class, she would wait until the last minute to leave. I didn't know why, but every time Lily Liu sat next to me, I felt extremely at ease. Derek Yang, after that birthday party, wasn't seen around school anymore. Not long after, he was exposed. His family was just an ordinary middle-class one. All those designer items before were all borrowed money from apps. Now who knows where he's hiding? Victor Bai had moved out of the dorm, and even switched classes. Occasionally when we met, he would avoid me from afar. I didn't care about those things, because my current goal was to get first place in the whole department, to prove to the old man how smart I was. Anyway, I'm Ethan G. Now I'm extremely annoyed. Before, my trillionaire dad, because he wanted me to blend in with friends, made me pretend to be poor. I played the role perfectly, but on the exact day of campus, Queen Lily Lia's birthday, the school hot guy, because he wanted to humiliate me, demanded to give me 10-0, making me jump into the pool in winter. My dad heard through the earpiece that someone was bullying his son, and couldn't hold back anymore. He climbed into the helicopter, circling right above the campus queen's villa, holding the loudspeaker shouting, "Who's willing to perform a pool jump in front of my son, Ethan G. One time I'll give 100-0. So my poor pretense failed miserably. Now everyone knows I'm the young master of the seafood tycoon. I asked Dad, now that I'm no longer poor, isn't it even harder to blend in? My dad, with a worried face, secretly asked Mom, "Why is our son so naive, huh? He's been targeted by that Lily Liu girl, and all he worries about is whether he can blend in or not. What should we do now?" After hearing that, I felt unconvinced at all. To prove I'm not stupid, I decided this final exam period I must stand first to make Dad's eyes pupil, because I no longer had to pick bottles to pretend poor. My free time was all spent holed up in the library, but people kept coming to disturb me. For example, now, I had just started doing homework when I saw a girl who seemed shy sit down opposite me. She took out a bottle of milk tea and a heart-shaped envelope, handed it to me, hesitantly saying, Can you accept it? At first, I planned to refuse, because my dad taught me, since young, that I absolutely must not accept things randomly given by others, especially food and drinks. But, looking at her expectant expression, I hesitated a bit, then nodded. Just as I reached out to take it, before I could say anything, a figure came running, panting beside me. It was Lily Liu. She anxiously said to me, "Ethan, you accepted their stuff? Can you return these things to them?" I shook my head, about to explain, when that girl showed a joyful, excited look, looking at me full of emotion. Completely opposite was Lily Liu. Her eyes suddenly darkened, her expression a bit hurt, her voice mumbled in pain. "Do you like her?" I blankly shook my head and said, "No, I don't." Lily Liu's face brightened up, hurriedly asking, "Then why did you accept it?" I looked at them with sincere eyes, then asked back, "Isn't this classmate starting a milk tea business?" My dad said, "Anyone just starting business faces a lot of difficulties. I think, since we were classmates, we should support her a little." Then I turned to ask the girl, "All right, how much is this milk tea? Can I scan to pay?" While the girl was frozen in shock, Lily Liu couldn't hold back and burst out laughing. Seeing me look, she quickly suppressed her laugh, then told the girl, "The money for this milk tea, I'll pay for Ethan Jr. Starting a business isn't easy. How about this? How much milk tea is left? I buy a few more bottles to support you." As she spoke, she naturally put her arm around the girl's shoulder, then dragged the stunned girl away. Lily Liu came back very quickly, looking at the envelope on the table. She hesitantly asked me, "Ethan, aren't you curious what's written inside the letter?" I shook my head and asked, puzzled, "Why be curious?" "Probably inside it writes some thank you words for supporting the business. Something like that." Lily Liu was stunned for 2 seconds, then hurriedly nodded. Yes. All just thank you words, 1,000 variations of the same. Nothing interesting to see. Let me handle it for you." I didn't refuse either. I was planning anyway when I left the library to casually throw it in the trash. It's just that, after that marketing drink incident in the library, almost whenever there was a free period, Lily Liu would come sit next to me. With her there, no one came to disturb me anymore. No more asking about bags, jewelry, or whether shoes were real or fake. And no more girls coming to market milk tea. I felt very comfortable. The only thing a bit unfamiliar was every time I looked up, I would catch Lily Liu's beautiful eyes that seemed to hold the entire starry sky, staring fixedly at my face. When she saw me looking, she would smile extremely gently. Time flew, and only 1 week left until the final exams. That day, I had just finished reading a book. I looked up and met Lily Liu's eyes again. Finally, I couldn't hold back and asked her, "That statue of the boy holding a fish in the fountain in the estate that I damaged when I was little, how much does it cost to fix?" Lily Liu froze for a moment, then blankly answered, "Probably around 200 yuan. Why?" I nodded as if I understood. "I'll transfer the money to you when I get home. You don't need to deliberately follow me anymore, acting like you're afraid I'll dodge the debt. Exams are coming soon. For me, studying is much more important than 200 zero." The smile on Lily Liu's face suddenly stiffened. She asked me as if struck by lightning, "You think I follow you every day to demand the debt?" I wondered, "Isn't that it? If not, why are you wasting study time following me around?" Lily Liu was completely speechless. The atmosphere suddenly felt off. She was silent for a long time, Then slowly, like a soulless person, left. After Lily Liu left, for some reason, I couldn't concentrate on reading at all. My heart felt restless and indescribable. I kept thinking about the last look, full of hurt from Lily Liu before she left. This was the first time I felt so annoyed like this. I didn't know what to do. I forced myself to stay in the library until 9 p.m. before returning to the dorm. After washing up, I lay on the bed, planning to sleep. But as soon as I closed my eyes, I couldn't sleep. My head was full of Lily Liu's figure. I suddenly remembered I still hadn't transferred the 200 to her. So I hurriedly picked up my phone and sent the money right away. But after sending, she still had no response for a long time, and didn't receive the money. I stared at the chat box for a very long time, so long that I almost fell asleep. Buzz. A message came. It was from Lily Liu. She asked me one question. Ethan, have you had someone you like yet? The kind of like between a boy and a girl in love. After reading that message, I completely froze. The kind of like for love. I searched my memory from before, until now. Besides, family. It seemed I had never liked anyone, and never thought about dating anyone. But the strange thing was, when mentioning the word like, the first name that flashed in my head was Lily Liu. I asked her, what does liking feel like? Lily Liu replied very quickly. Liking means unconsciously thinking about that person all the time in your head. Liking means wanting to be with that person all day, just wanting to look at them forever, wanting to treat them well, giving them all the best things. I immediately realized she already had someone she liked. So, I asked directly, you have someone you like? Lily Liu was silent for a moment before replying, I really do have someone I like. When I was little, I didn't know what liking was. I was just extremely impressed by a very cute boy who followed me around all day demanding to marry me. As I grew up, my parents often mentioned that boy, saying how talented he was. At just 12 years old, he won first place in the National Physics Olympiad for students. My parents said he got better and better, his achievements outstanding, and mature, understanding. If only I thought less about silly things, and studied half as well as that boy, how good it would be. At that time I was unconvinced at all, because in high school I had already sold a dress I designed myself for 2 million yuan. I was curious, wondering how that little boy from back then, who could break the fishtail and cling to me without letting go even half a step, has changed now. When he was in 11th grade, I secretly returned to the country, went straight to the school he was attending. Even though 10 years had passed, I still recognized him at first glance. At that time he stood out extremely in the crowd, clearly very scared. But he still gathered all his courage to stand up and protect a bullied classmate, yelling loudly while swinging his fists and kicking wildly, beating several thugs, bigger than him, to the ground. At that time I thought, how could there be such an awesome boyfriend in this world? I stayed in the country for a month, often secretly going to school to watch him. The more I looked, the more I couldn't take my eyes off. One time, I heard him say his dream was to get into the best school in the country. Thinking of my own terrible grades, I felt ashamed and left. I used getting into that top university as a plea to Dad to let me settle back in the country. And finally I succeeded. I finally could openly and legitimately use the identity of a classmate to stand beside him. I read in a daze each line of messages sent continuously by Lily Liu, my heart extremely shocked. I asked her, the person you like is me, the kind of like where you want to date me? Lily Liu replied immediately, yes, Ethan, I like you so much. Before I always followed you, not because I wanted to demand money for the statue, but because I really wanted to be by your side. I felt very conflicted. So I replied, but I don't even know if I like you or not. Before I didn't think about you much. Only today my mind keeps thinking about you. But when I'm with you, I feel very comfortable. Lily Liu replied instantly, will you miss me? Ethan, how about we try dating? Like holding hands, walking the streets, and going on dates. If, in the end, you still don't like me, then I'll return your first kiss to you. I was extremely curious. So I asked right away, how do you plan to return my first kiss? Lily Liu only replied with 3 words, guess. Probably because my curiosity was a bit high, wanting to know how she would return the kiss. I agreed to try dating her and see. The next day, when she stood waiting under the dorm, she looked very happy, but still a bit shy and embarrassed. We walked side by side on the way to the library, her hand accidentally touching mine several times. I shifted a bit to keep distance, but strangely our hands kept touching. I thought for a while, then tightly held her hand. I tightly held her hand, under her shocked eyes. I said, if we hold hands like this, there won't be accidental touches anymore. Couples can hold hands, right? Lily Liu nodded vigorously, looking at me with admiring eyes. Ethan, you're really smart. In my heart, I secretly agreed. I wasn't stupid at all. Actually, I could tell. Lily Liu probably wanted to hold my hand from the start. Looking at her face, unable to hide her joy, I guessed correctly, thinking of how Dad always called me stupid. This final exam, first place, I must get, no matter what. The final exams just ended. My parents came to pick me up in person. Dad saw Lily Liu standing there, snorted a few times. But Mom elbowed him, and he immediately shut up. When I got in the car, Dad immediately said, son, don't let Lily Liu's gentle appearance fool you away. I nodded. Dad, don't worry. I won't be fooled. Soon Mom and Dad will see how smart I am. Looking at Dad's relieved smile, I looked forward even more to the exam results. The day the results came out, I successfully got first place, and immediately showed Dad. Dad, you can't call me stupid anymore. Look how smart I am, I got first place. Mom and Dad were extremely satisfied. Right, Dad was wrong. Our son is the best. How could he be stupid? I happily prepared to go out. Mom and Dad curiously asked, going on a date, son? I promised Lily Liu that after the results, I would take her out to play. My parents froze in place. When I left, I still vaguely heard Dad jumping up. That Liu family girl is really scheming and cunning. Just like that, she swept away our son. No, I have to follow the boy. Mom held Dad back. Follow what? Have you ever seen our son meet someone and look this happy before? Before I heard that dating was going to movies together, shopping malls, eating, or amusement parks, aquariums, or something. But Lily Liu came to pick me up and didn't go to those places. Instead, taking me to an artificial ski resort. Harbor City in winter rarely has snow. Lily Liu asked, Ethan, do you know how to ski? If not, let me teach you. I nodded. A little. I had gone skiing a few times with friends before. Lily Liu was very happy. Then I'll teach you the paired falling leaves technique, okay? I wondered what paired falling leaves was, until Lily Liu and I embraced on the same ski board. I understood. It was the two of us performing the technique together. Lily Liu said to me, Ethan, just hold me tight. Let me control the balance before she finished. I pushed off with the poles and slid away fast. Ethan, I wasn't done yet. Wrong. This is an advanced track. Hearing Lily Liu's worried voice, I reassured, just hold on to me, it's fine. I've skied this path a few times. It's not hard. Lily Liu then quietly closed her eyes and held me tight. Skiing all day, I discovered Lily Liu seemed a bit afraid of heights. Whenever there was a slight gap, she would cling to me without letting go. But I still felt very happy. I quite liked skiing, and made plans with Lily Liu to go again in a few days. That day, Lily Liu came to pick me up for another date, saying there was a really good movie. While strolling in the shopping mall, I suddenly felt like someone was watching me. But after looking around, I saw nothing. The winter break passed quickly. During Lunar New Year, Lily Liu and her family came to my house to wish us Happy New Year. My dad's face still wasn't very happy, but for some reason, after going into the study to talk with Lily Liu and her dad for a while, after that Dad looked at her much more favorably. When heading back to school, Dad privately reminded me, if Lily Liu treats you badly anywhere, you must tell Dad. Dad will teach her a lesson. Actually, I hadn't told Dad yet. It seemed I already knew what liking was. These past few days, after just parting with Lily Liu, my heart felt restless, wanting to see her immediately. I kept thinking about her, wanting to meet, to talk, even if just chatting about random things. I found it extremely interesting. After the new semester started, I was still in the dorm. This semester Derek Yang didn't appear again. I heard from David Du. It seemed he had dropped out. I didn't care. Suddenly one day Victor Bai came to the dorm looking for me. He said, "Ethan, have some pity on Derek Yang. Because of you, he's living miserably now. To pay back the app loans, his parents had to sell the house. But it still wasn't enough. Now they're hiding from debt everywhere." I found it really puzzling. Whether Derek Yang is living miserably or not has nothing to do with me. Why should I pity him? Victor Bai, after hearing me, looked at me with eyes full of disgust and reproach. "Ethan G, do you have any conscience? You're so rich. What's wrong with helping him out? Derek Yang ending up like this is your fault. If it wasn't for you constantly provoking him, he wouldn't have taken high-interest loans to buy designer stuff. Harming himself like that? You have to take responsibility and pay his debts." I was stunned. Then, turned to ask Victor Bai, "You mean because I looked too poor back then, I accidentally provoked Derek Yang? Or do you think I told him to borrow money? He didn't borrow for me to spend. Why should I pay his debts?" Victor Bai was about to say more, but right then David Du came back, so he left angrily. I didn't pay attention to those words. But unexpectedly on the day Lily Liu was busy with class, I had just gone out to buy some stuff when I was kidnapped. Until cold water was splashed on me to wake me up, I realized I was tightly tied to a chair. After looking around, it turned out to be an abandoned building area. "Ethan G, you finally woke up?" Derek Yang's hoarse, cold voice rang out, his eyes full of hatred, peering through his messy hair, staring at me. I was quite surprised. It hadn't been that long, but he looked thin and tan, his body dirty and disheveled. "Derek Yang, did you just come back from construction work?" I asked with concern. Slap! Derek Yang slapped me hard, stars exploding in my eyes. "Construction my ass. Let me tell you, Ethan G, now you're in my hands. Be smart and listen to me. If not, if I can't live, then you're coming with me." I managed to dodge to the side so the slap sounded loud, but actually didn't hurt at all. Derek Yang took out my phone and forced face unlock, then searched the contacts and made a call, deliberately putting it on speaker. "Hello, who is this?" The other end was Lily Liu's somewhat annoyed voice. Derek Yang used a voice changer, getting straight to the point. "Ethan G is in my hands. If you want him alive, prepare 10 million. No, 30 million yuan. What? Don't go too far. Derek Yang sneered upon hearing, covered the mic and said to me, Ethan G. Look, usually so close with Lily Liu. In the end, she won't even spend 30 million to save you. Actually, I felt a bit disappointed too. After all, it was only 30 million. Did Lily Liu think it was too much? Before I could think more, the other end roared angrily from Lily Liu. You dare think my Ethan is only worth 30 million? What do you mean? Believe I'll slap your mouth broken? Ethan's life is at least 300 million. No, starting at 3 billion yuan. I don't lack money. Quickly say where to put the money. I'll come throw it in your face. But if my Ethan gets even a scratch, even if I have to flip the whole earth, I'll make your life worse than death. As soon as Lily Liu's words ended, I saw Derek Yang's face almost completely distort. He was even angrier than Lily Liu. Spit! That worthless life of Ethan G demanding 3 billion? In my eyes, he's only worth 30. No, at most 3 cents. Lily Liu, on the other end, seemed really furious with Derek Yang. So angry she almost cursed. Damn it, say that again. You're the one only worth 3 cents. Ethan, in my heart, is priceless. One hair of his is more precious than your dog life. Derek Yang, upon hearing, got even more furious. Lily Liu, you're really blind to fall for this Ethan G. and treat him as a priceless treasure. You two idiots are perfect for each other. I was still listening in a daze, when behind came footsteps and shouting, Enough! Why are you yelling so loud? Got the money yet? After demanding, hang up quickly, I turned my head with difficulty, and saw a burly man, the one who had dragged me into the car and knocked me out. Derek Yang seemed scared of this guy. His last bit of sanity returned. Meekly said, almost done. Then, he suppressed his voice, speaking to Lily Liu on the phone. Shut up. Put the 30 million at, bang! A miserable scream, accompanied by the sound of a heavy object crashing to the ground, rang out. Immediately, an elite special forces team burst in like wind. Freeze! Don't move! Derek Yang had a gun pointed at him, face drained of blood. Right at that moment, from the door, came Lily Liu's icy voice. Derek Yang, where do you want me to put the 30 million? She walked in with a furious face, but when she saw me, she suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. She hurriedly came with the police to untie me. Seeing I was fine, she hugged me tightly. I noticed her whole body was still trembling, continuously mumbling apologies in my ear. It's all my fault, because I didn't take good care of you. How could I be so careless? I should have arranged protection for you. My parents arrived just in time after that. Seeing her fearfully hugging me so tightly, actually, I wanted to say if they came a bit later, I could have untied myself. After all, before my dad spent a lot to hire trainers to teach me self-rescue skills in danger. It wasn't just for fun. Later I learned, right after I was kidnapped not long, Lily Liu, after class, couldn't contact me, immediately mobilized to check all school cameras and add security cameras in the surrounding area. Upon discovering I was kidnapped, she stayed up all night, analyzing every frame of footage, eyes red from crying, but refusing to miss a single second. If not for Lily Liu helping, the police probably couldn't have located me so quickly. Thanks to that, as soon as Derek Yang called, they pinpointed our location, capturing Derek Yang and the burly guy in one swift move. From my parents I learned that man was Derek Yang's creditor, originally planning to collect debt from him. But then, somehow, they discussed and turned to target me, planning the kidnapping together for ransom. Since that failed kidnapping, my dad insisted on hiring 100 bodyguards to protect me 24/7. I hurriedly pulled Lily Liu's hand, asking her to persuade Dad. Who knew she turned to Dad? Uncle. 100 people? How could that be enough? I'll also send 100 from my family. Only with 200 will I feel at ease. My mom, upon hearing, almost grabbed a broom to sweep both the old man and Lily Lou out of the house. In the end, Mom decided, only when my son needs to leave school alone can he call bodyguards to accompany. While inside school, everything remains normal. To ensure my safety at school, my dad and Lily, Liu Hao, donated several thousand surveillance cameras to the school, making the entire campus, except bathrooms and dorms, all other places monitored 360 degrees with no blind spots. Lily Liu, even for me, specially requested to transfer to my class, so we could study together. I don't know how other couples date, but with Lily Liu, from the moment we were together until graduation and engagement, she always spoiled me just like the first day. She cared about every little thing. If I sneezed or had a runny nose, she would feel so distressed, wishing she was the one sick instead. She even learned martial arts for me, from taekwondo to judo and everything. The years beside Lily Liu helped me deeply understand one thing: liking someone and being by the side of the person you love is truly an incredibly happy thing.